Okay, so now we're going to start with part one. Question number one. Who are you closest to in your family?
To be honest, I would say that I get along really well with my sister. This due to she being the model of who I want to become in the future. And she also has experienced ups and downs in life. Therefore, she always provides me with the best advices.
Question number two. Do you get along well with your family?
Yes, I do believe that I'm mostly on good terms with family members. And of course, we are entangled in disagreements or arguments on some occasions. But after all, my family always settle down and talk things through.
The next question. Are your parents your role models in life? Why or why not?
Well, I firmly believe that my parents are the best role models in my life. This because I have witnessed the way they raise their children and prepare for them to live the next in the future. And I also really admire their dedication for both the family and their work.
Question number four. How much time did your parents spend with you when you were a child?
Well, ever since I was a toddler, my parents have always provided me with unconditional love and wealth of attention. And despite their strict schedule at work, my parents always found a way to come home early and shower me with care.
The next question. Do you often have problems with family members?
To be honest, we scary have arguments amongst members in family. This is due to we being the typical nuclear family and we are also quite harmonious and therefore we infrequently be entangled in conflicts.
The last question. Do you think conflicts among family members are unavoidable?
Yes, I do believe that arguments or fights in family are unavoidable. However, if family members strive for harmony or solutions, conversations, and peace, then they can always settle down and strengthen the bonds.
Okay, so now we're going to start with part two. Describe a time you had a disagreement with someone in your family. You should say who was the person, why did you have the disagreement, and was the issue resolved? If yes, then how?
Well, when it comes to disagreement, the first time that springs to my mind is when I had a fight with my parents last year. At that time, I was reviewing my lessons to prepare for the midterm exams. Since I always strive for the high scores, then my parents stormed into my room with a really furious expression. They immediately asked me about the results of my English test. In the blink of an eye, I realized that they had found out my very low English mark. The atmosphere then became really tense. I tried to defend myself, but my parents kept being argumentative, and eventually the conversation turned heated. Due to being too frustrated, I slipped out some hurtful words toward my parents. Surprisingly, my parents became quiet, then they left my room with a really disappointed expression. Both my parents and I didn't speak to each other for the rest of the week. Looking back, I realized that I could have handled the situation better, and I also could have calmly explained myself and apologized to my parents. This, therefore, this would have prevented the misunderstanding as well as the conflicts. Even the arguments have cooled down. I still felt deeply regret with my attitude and my words at that moment. Had it not been for this conflict, I could have had the chance to learn the importance of being patient and calm.
Now we're going to start with part three. Question number one. How much time do parents spend with their children in your country? Do you think that is enough?
As far as I'm concerned, parents in my country these days are not giving their children enough attention, mainly due to their sick schedule at work. And their kids also in this day and age have to spend most of their days at school and activities at school too.
Question number two. How important do you think spending time together is for the relationship between parents and children? Why?
For me, it's extremely significant for adults to give their children enough attention. This can help them to create a stronger bonds or boost the children's self-esteem or help the children to adopt proper human behaviors such as respect, love, or empathy. This will enable them to growing up as good and ideal model.
Question number 2. Have relationship between parents and children changed in recent years? Why do you think that is?
Yes, the bonds between children and parents have changed nowadays. This is due to parents growing overly conscious about providing their kids with much mentorship so as to help their children in their future career. And this had led to the child receive less freedom of choices and can also result in conflicts.
Question number 4. Do you think that today's modern lifestyle has pushed parents and grandparents further away from the younger generation?
Well, from my point of view, although the modern way of life have led to generational disparities in beliefs and goals, nowadays it's much simpler for family members of all ages to keep in touch as well as communicate thanks to the development in technology and social media.
Question number 5. Should parents let their children make a decision?
Well, from my point of view, it depends on many cases. For younger children, parents need to make decisions on their behalf to ensure their children's safety and well-being. While with older children or teenagers, it is beneficial for parents to involve them in the choice-making process and allow them to choose their path with mentorship and support as needed.
Question number 6. What responsibilities do parents have towards their children?
In my viewpoint, the top priority of parents towards their kids is that they have to ensure kids are safe, receive enough care and love as well as attention, and they have to also check on their mental and physical health and well-being. And last but not least, parents need to also provide their children with mentorship and guidance and support throughout their life.
The next question. Do you think old people and young people can share interests?
Well, of course they can, and especially between old people and kids who are seem to be beyond their age. The interests can be varied, and two people can always find something in common to talk to each other about, and they can always share interests in order to learn and discover more.
Question number 8. What can old people teach young people?
From my point of view, old people can pass down the practical skills to young people. Skills like skewing, sewing, knitting, gardening, baking, which adults nowadays either don't know or are too busy to teach them. And they can also pass down life experience, like how adults experience ups and downs in life, which can be really crucial and valuable morals for young people.
The last question. Is it easy for young people and old people to make friends with each other?
I would say that this may be kind of challenging. This due to the generation gaps and also the difference in attitudes and views toward life. Welcome to IELTS speaking part 1. So we're gonna start with question number 1. Who are you closest to in your family?
I'm close to all of my family members, but in terms of sharing personal stuff and spending time together, I am more close to my mother than the rest of the members.
Alright, so do you get along well with your family?
Yes, me and my family have a really great bond. Most of the time, they're all really supporting, caring, and they give really good advices too. But I wouldn't dare to say that we have never had arguments before. However, my families are really easy to forgive, so there had never been a time when an argument lasts for longer than 2 days.
Okay, so are your parents your role models in life?
Not really. I would say that they did a really decent job in becoming a role model in my life. Like I appreciate the way that they take care of me and my sister, the way that they love us unconditionally. However, sometimes the way they show their love and care is just not right. Like they shout, they criticize, like they own the solutions for when they make mistakes, and it unconsciously lower our self-esteem.
Okay, so how much time did your parents spend with you when you were a child?
I would say that they did manage to spend time with me when I was in my childhood, even though they were really busy back then. Um, it wasn't much, but enough for me to realize that they love me and care for me. It was right after when my younger sister was born. Then my father and my mother both have to go to work until late afternoon. But the rest of the day is spent time for me. So.
On to question number 5. Do you often have problems with family members?
Yes, to be honest, we have really like the similar mindset, like especially between me and my mother. We have the same way of thinking for a solution whenever we have like face a problems, but the way that we see life and the world are different. So, which leads to sometime when we have opposite ideas, we fight a lot.
Okay, so on to the last question. Do you think conflicts among family members are unavoidable?
Yes, family conflicts are difficult to avoid due to the like maybe age gap or generation gap between family members. Beside that, like character traits also like character traits differences can also lead to quarrels, but I also think that conflict plays an important role in helping us to understand each other more. All right.
So let's get to part 2. The topic will be describe a time you had a disagreement with someone in your family. And in this part, you should say who was the person. Why did you have the disagreement and was the issue resolved? If yes, how? You may start now.
When it comes to disagreement, I remember the time when I had a really long quarrels with my mom. It started in the 9th grade when I started to cut my hair short. Like I have always strived for the masculine hairstyle, clothing, and accessory, which is the opposite ideal styles of my mother. She's want me to become more feminine. Like you should wear dresses, you should have your hair longer. Like all the girls your age looks really pretty when they dressed up. That's what she said to me. But like, of course, I disagree. I told her that each person has their own style and not every girl should be feminine, which she didn't see eye to eye with me. So the argument lasted for like almost 1 year, and during that time, she frequently reminded me that she didn't like my hair, how bad my hair looked, and she always told me to cut it. But I didn't give up, and I always tried to defend for myself. And eventually, my mother decided to respect my opinion and let me cut my hair the way I wanted.
All right, thank you for your speaking. So come to the last part. Question number 1. How much time do parents spend with their children in your country? And do you think that's enough?
As far as I can see, parents in my country don't manage their enough time for their children, mainly because that most parents are busy with busy working outside until late at night, and besides, the children are also becoming busier with their studies and activities at school. After all, seeing of the children by the parents like right before bedtimes and a little chit chat at the dining table will never be considered as enough. So.
All right. So, how important do you think spending time together is for the relationships between parents and children? Why?
It is extremely important for the parents to spend their time together with their children, especially during the first 5 years of their lifetime. Of their lives, as it will create a really strong bond between the children and the parents. Um, it will help the young children to learn proper human behavior such as love, respect toward their family, and along with other important social skills like communication skills or etiquette.
Okay, so have relationships between parents and children changed in recent years, and why do you think that is?
I would say that the relationship between parents and their kids have changed to a great deal because the parents have grown overly cautious about how to raise their children and how to help them have a better life both at school and at home. Besides, they are also struggling between whether they should become more strict or lenient. Like they are worrying about how their children will use their freedom, like free time, in order to like explore the environment around them.
Okay, so the next question. Do you think that today's modern lifestyle has put parents and grandparents further away from the younger generation?
It's difficult to say exactly whether like today's modern lifestyle has pushed parents and grandparents further away from younger generation because like there are pros and cons nowadays and neither side is entirely right or wrong. So the best way we could do is find a way to bridge the generation gap to like make us all feel connected to each other despite the generation gaps and age gaps.
All right. So the last question. Should parents let their children make a decision?
It really depends on different situations and different age group. For younger children, it would be better for parents to make decisions for them to ensure their safety and their well-being. But as children grow older, parents should like involve their child into the decision-making process so they will get used to it and they will know how to make their own decision.
All right, thank you.